This is Polestar. Let me tell you a bit about this fella. Polestar is a vegan and it goes to the gym a lot, and it has a Peloton bike that it actually uses. But you'd never know that because Polestar is just super chill. Never bangs on about any of that stuff. If you ask Polestar to meet you at Burger King, it just turns up because it wants to hang out. It orders a black coffee, asks what's happening with your life, is genuinely interested in the answer, and doesn't side-eye your XL bacon double cheeseburger in judgment the whole time. And it does all that stuff even if you used to go out with it and you've been ghosting it for 2 years. Polestar loves everybody. What the f*** is that rattling? Polestar loves everybody. Yeah, but Polestar wasn't always this chill. That's right, this particular star was born in the mid-90s specifically to pimp Volvo race cars, and it had the least chill name that you've ever heard. Flash Engineering.
I don't want to fight you, Flash.
I wouldn't want to fight me neither.
Flash changed its name to Polestar, Volvo took over, used Polestar to make some really fast estates in that, and eventually turned Polestar into a car company and made this thing. And the second car was this, hence Polestar 2. And what do you think was the first thing that Polestar did after dropping this deuce? I can't say drop this deuce. Drop the deuce, man. It name-checked this thing and was like, yep, we're having you, sunshine. Really though, that is what they did. Look at this press release announcing the Polestar 2 in 2019. It's not very chill, is it?
Not specifically.
But then, somewhere along the way, Polestar just relaxed. Started using plant-based panels and recycled bottles in the seats and discarded fishing nets on the carpet. In the carpet. I'm surprised it doesn't stink like a Channel 5 documentary in here, to be honest.
Quite comfortable, really.
And it's not just bits of the interior that are recycled, the whole car is basically a recycled Volvo SUV. True story, underneath all this is basically this, an 8-year-old Volvo family car. Weird. Yeah, weird. And yet, somehow, a company that turned its back on racing in order to become the most chillest, most vegan, recycled car company bro squad, and then filled an old Volvo crossover with landfill, ended up with this. Bloody hell. It still takes us by surprise. This thing is a wrecking machine. Honestly, it's just so much fun. So there is an obvious answer to the title question here.
Oh, hell no!
But is it as good as a Tesla Model 3?
How about no?
Yes, not quite. But as we'll find out together now, this is a car that is much better than the sum of its parts, somehow. Better than the sum total of the criticism that you can easily level at it. So, okay, so it's a bit like a Tesla Model 3, you got that. It's a saloon type thing, type being the operative word because unlike the Tesla, the 2 is actually a hatchback. And that means it's the much more practical car because it has the most gaping rear hole, even though numerically it's at a disadvantage. It seats 5 people, the starting price is about 42 grand, it has significant battery range, whichever one you choose, it ranges from very quick to mental quick. It has the most boring colour palette in the universe, and also the worst cup holder design in the universe. One cup. There is another cup holder, but it's in here, in the place where you normally get a storage box, and it means you have to open this flap up, and then...
You're doing great.
And that is far from the only bit of very obvious form over function design in the 2. I love the fact that they've made the dashboard out of like crushed up vape sticks or whatever it is, but I've also never seen a dashboard that basically turns your hands into sticks of chalk. It just marks up so easily, it's mad. And the infotainment, right, it's just not very good. It's not the worst, but Polestar left it to Google. So for that reason, I just do not understand why it's not the absolute benchmark for in-car infotainment systems, for like intuitiveness and user-friendliness. It's Google. Imagine, if you will, that you are Jesus, but not too hard because that can go quite wrong. And you commission Michelangelo to paint a selfie of you. Shine, Jesus, shine, fill this land. where, Mike? You can do better than that. Where's your cowabunga? It's the little things, literally. Like, it's a massive screen, but the tiles are tiny, so there's loads of dead space. It just feels like a waste. And when you're using these controls right at the bottom of the screen, you can occasionally pause the radio by accident, because that's a sensitive pause button. Although, big knob, always a winner for volume. Oh yeah, and Apple CarPlay is wired. Wired! Who wants a massive wire sticking out of here? Nobody. And it's proper glitchy too. Right, so I'm going to go off script a bit here, because in the script that I wrote yesterday, I was going to tell you about the time that me and our Nicola were driving back from London to Newcastle, and for like 200 miles, the screen just stopped working, so we didn't have any aircon, we didn't have any Apple CarPlay or any music, radio of any sort. So for all that distance, we just had to like talk to each other. Weird. I said I was going to go off script, but then just gave you the script anyway. Basically though, about an hour ago, it happened again. Coming back from the Meti just now, and it's like, no, you can't have the main infotainment screen and you can't have your maps on your instrument panel. And it's all very grey in here, right? And very Volvo. Most of the stuff inside the Polestar 2 is lifted directly from a Volvo. You can tell they designed this when they weren't quite sure how the whole Polestar thing was going to work out. So Volvo was like, yeah, if you could just use as much of our stuff as you can, that would be great, thanks. But as this non-fool once said,
you can't go around copying somebody else. You got to be your own original.
Which is exactly what Polestar went and did with the 3 and the 4, which are both newer and both feel far further away from Volvo cars than the 2 does. And yet, I love this car, like proper love it. People talk about cars feeling effortless to drive, and it usually just means they're a bit fast, but this, in the truest sense of the word effortless, really does feel it. From the moment you approach this car, it is effortless to drive. Like, you don't start this thing, you just get into it with the key, stick it into drive, and then go. And the way it sits you in the car, the driving position, it's lovely. It's like you're in it, you know? So many cars you feel like you're sat on top of, and that's not the case here. And that extends to the pedals that just feel great. They're really natural, especially the brake pedal, they're progressive. Similarly, the accelerator, really responsive. So the moment you tap it, car goes. But it is that, it has that quality without feeling more sensitive than a GB News viewer. It's just all the contact points when you drive it. So the steering as well, like, it's got that lovely balance. It's really light, so it's not a pain in the arse day to day, but then you still get loads of feel through it. A lot of cars get that wrong. Like, if you get into a Mini, the reason some people won't buy a Mini, I know this for a fact, is because they're too heavy. And what that means normally is that the steering is just too much of a pain in the arse to move. This, it's not like that. It feels really lovely and light, but you always know exactly where it's placing the car. It's comfortable. Apart from the ride, that, not comfortable. Yeah, it's actually quite dreadful. Now, it's better than it was. Softening this car down a bit was one of the main things that Polestar did when it updated this a couple of years ago. So it is slightly more comfortable, generally. It's still far too firm in my opinion, and it's at its worst when you got this particular one. The one with the biggest wheels and the most suspension. The sportiest, firmest suspension, that is. If you know your Polestars, you will have noticed these seat belts and deduced that this is a performance pack Polestar. Which makes this thing absolutely lightning quick and also adds adaptable suspension. Having said that, it's not adaptable like an Audi or a BMW driver would understand that word, where you press a little button on the dashboard and the car gets harder or softer. With this, you have to physically take it to Polestar for them to adjust it, which seems a bit inconvenient, right? Which is why I haven't done it, even though I would really like to. I would like to go to Polestar and I'd like to say, please make the suspension so that going to work every day does not feel like this.
You know, have you heard about having...
But it's just so brilliant at going fast that you really won't care. It just feels proper planted down. Arguably, it feels so planted down that it's a little bit characterless, but it is the sort of car that is just extremely easy to drive quickly. And that's because when you're turning a corner, it's really grippy, it's really predictable, and it just has lots of feel. It's one of those cars that feels like its limits are way beyond your ability to drive fast. Now, you will lose some of that assuredness if you get a single motor version. That's a cheaper one. But you will still get a proper driving experience. The sort of proper driving experience that anybody who bought a basic Polestar before 2024 does not get. Because another thing that Polestar did when it updated this car was switch the basic ones from front wheel drive to rear wheel drive. Pretty major for a midlife update that. Usually a midlife update means they just like change the grille a bit. Now they have done that, obviously, but this is more like getting a gardener in and the gardener going, oh yeah, I've cut your grass for you as requested, but also I've turned your whole house round 180 degrees, so you've now got a lovely south-facing garden. You're welcome. It means a basic Polestar handles much better than it did before. More like a BMW and less like a Volvo. This, obviously this too. It feels much newer and better in most ways, to be honest. You should probably get one of these too. It will fit your lifestyle and also make a good place to hang keys and stuff.
So think hard. Make the best choice you can. If you respect your decision, so will everyone else. Especially me.
Good car this, I would have one. In fact, I do have one because the car that I've been driving there, I've actually been running for the last 4 or 5 months for Auto Trader. So if you want to see the updates on that, then I'll put the link in the description below. So yeah, you can read those, including a fascinating anecdote about the time that I lost a whole BMW iX in the blind spot and nearly crashed. That was the car's fault, not mine. Thanks for watching, subscribe, you've been great. Bye.